If you're struggling with repetitive negative thoughts, or you're wondering, Elisha, there are certain thoughts that always comes to my mind at a particular time of the day when I'm finding myself doing a particular task, you do not want to miss this episode. I've always said my life is a testimony. I shouldn't be here, but I'm here, I'm alive. And my primary task is very simple: to give hope to those that need hope. I'm not here to play gimmicks. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to give you life tools that will transform your life. When it comes to addressing or engaging repetitive skills, when it comes to addressing repetitive thoughts, there is an approach I discovered in my quest for looking for answer. I was addicted to porn and masturbation for 14 years, sleeping with prostitute, strip club, all manner of things I was engaging. So when it comes to thought, I believe in this area, I am an expert. So please stay tuned. Get your pen and a notepad, because you will be taking principles that have transformed my life. And if you apply it, your life will change. Welcome to the Unfiltered Bedroom. I am your host, Elisha. I'm always happy to see you. I'm always happy that you're taking your time out to listen to me. So I've always said, no matter what is going on out there is always a way out. There is always a way out. Never, I repeat, look down on yourself. Never beat yourself down, because there's greatness inside of you. Anyway, in today's episode, the question is, Elisha, how do I stop, or how do I address repetitive thoughts? I'm having repetitive thoughts, Elisha. It's overwhelming. Whenever this thought comes around, I felt handicapped. I felt I'm unable to do any task. I'm actually engaging in behavior I shouldn't be because of this constant repetitive thought. Elisha, I'm struggling. This has taken over my life. There must be an answer, Elisha. I'm glad to let you know there is an answer. In my own journey, I remember days I would just sat down at home and I would just be thinking about bad things that would happen to me. And I'll just over and over be thinking about this bad situation happening. And I was asking question, where are these thoughts coming from? What could be the root cause of this thought? What is it? What is it? Then it dawned on me, and I have an aha moment. And mine was traced back to my youth, my childhood. Because I remember then vividly how I was being compared to my younger ones, my siblings. How I was being compared to the family friends' kids. I wasn't good enough. No matter what I do, it wasn't good enough. That situation ended up affecting everything in my life. I had to take a journey. I remember many times I've been frustrated in a relationship. Why am I always looking for this relationship to break up? Why am I looking for bad things to happen to me? Why am I always doing this? There are processes and there are steps I took. And that's why I said to you, in this particular episode, I'll please want you to write this down, and it will transform your life. The very first thing you want to do is to learn the act of capturing your thoughts. That is the very first thing. In order for us to see a repetitive thought, we need to see the pattern. Something is repetitive. There must be an infrastructure behind the thought that makes it repetitive. that is constantly coming to your mind at a particular time, particular day, particular situation, maybe particular circumstances, maybe a childhood memory, pain, emotional pain, physical pain. There are infrastructure that is making that particular thought repetitive. And in order for we to see the pattern, in order for us to do anything, the very first thing you need to do is to learn the act of journaling. To me, that is the system that will transform and that will help you to take a preview or take a peek as to what is going on between your ears, your head, your brain. How am I thinking? What time does this particular thought comes in? We're looking for pattern, remember? What environment could be instigating this thought? What circumstances could be instigating this thought? Are there memory that whenever I bring up the memory in my life, this thought comes alive? Are there actions that whenever I take the actions, this thought comes alive? These are patterns that we're looking for. But in order to see the pattern, we need a system. And that system is a journaling system. Because when you begin to journal, you take your journal with you either on the bus or the train. Please avoid writing things on your notebook, on your iPad or your phone. There's a power when you pick up a pen and you write things down. You bring your mind to focus. When you write things down on the paper with your pen, you bring your mind, your brain to focus on the task at hand. You are retraining your brain to look for pattern. And that is the first thing I want you to do. And I did an excellent video on that. How to observe your thought. You find it either here or on the link of this particular video. Now that you've learned to capture the thought with a system, which is your journaling system, you will begin to see patterns. Because by the time you do a reflection every day, you begin to see a pattern. The pattern will come out. You will see the pattern. No matter what, you will see the pattern. It's amazing the power of journaling. You will see the pattern. That is the first step. We've captured seeing the pattern. The next thing is to disrupt the pattern. This is where I think many make mistake. They see the pattern and they become a victim of the pattern. They ask themselves, oh, why me? That kind of attitude will not change, will not give you the transformation you're looking for. Now that you've seen the pattern, the next thing is to challenge the pattern, is to disrupt that pattern, that current way of thinking. My mentor always says something. To see a man's life transformed, you need to disrupt the way he thinks. In order for us to break the pattern of that repetitive thinking, that thought, we need to challenge. How do you challenge? Very simple. You don't like thinking this way. You don't like this thought. Then you need to say something. And that is why I've always said to people, I'm very radical with my approach. You cannot use thoughts to cancel out thoughts. You're having a repetitive thought come into your mind. You can't just be thinking about it. You need to open your mouth and say what you want. First of all, hello, Elisha, why am I thinking this way? You are not allowed to think this way. No. Where is the thought coming from? You are not allowed here. That is the very first thing you need to do. You learn to start arresting the thought with your mouth. You seen the pattern in your journal. Now you need to arrest the thought with your mouth. I beg of you. You're not going to arrest a thought with a thought. You arrest a thought with your mouth. When you speak, the brain takes notice. What's going on? Yes, we're not allowed to think this way. Now that you've arrested thought, next thing you need to do, you need to inject new thoughts. You need to start cultivating new set of thoughts. Meaning, could it be a memory? Could it be a trauma? Could it be a pain? Anything that it could be, you need to address the infrastructure that supports that repetitive negative thought. Remember, we need to break the pattern about breaking the pattern require, number one, having a system to capture it. Number two, looking for pattern. Number three, standing and begin to challenge those thoughts. Number four, we need to introduce a new way of thinking. And that comes with feeding the mind with the right thoughts, with the right information, good books, your Bible, your friends, your environment. You need to expose your mind. Finally, please understand this. It is a battle. You need to stand and fight. Repetitive thought will not just give way, especially if it's something you've been engaging over and over. And actually, you've been acting out those thoughts. That means there is corresponding network of neurons you've built that has been mapped into your brain, which has a corresponding behavior, and you're already acting it out, and you're already seeing the result of the thought. You have a lot of work to do, meaning you have to fight. And that fight is systematically carried out. And that's why I've taken my time to lay out the things you need to do. Let me repeat it. We need a system to capture the thought. Get yourself a beautiful journal. In capturing your thought, when you start in the morning, anywhere you go to, a thought comes to your mind, write it down. Every day reflect. Ask yourself, why am I thinking this way? What could be the result? What could be the reason why I'm thinking this way? We're looking for pattern. When you see the pattern, what do? We begin to challenge the pattern. Remember, we don't use thoughts to cancel our thought. We use our mouth to start arresting the thought. Number four, we expose our mind to the right food, the right content. You have to do this intentionally. And finally, number five, I said, you need to take stand and fight. Don't just put your hand back and wish for the thoughts to go away. It will not. You have to fight for the state of your mind. Thank you for listening to this life transforming episode.